High in the hills of Sicily, the Di Costa family has been making cheese using methods passed down for generations. When Lorenzo Di Costa first started breeding his mutated chickens, people in the village of San Nicola didn't know what to think. But soon, the udders on his chickens were producing the rich, yellow chicken milk that gives Di Costa its unmistakable neurological flavors. And if you haven't had Di Costa chicken cheese, you're not alone, because for generations, Di Costa chicken cheese has been patiently accumulating in our cellars. Di Costa chicken cheese, from our family to your mouth, as soon as import restrictions on mutated chicken milk are lifted. You're listening to Questionable Material, produced in New York by Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. QMPodcast.com. Recruiting office.
Hi, I was wondering what your requirements are and if they've been lowered yet.
Well, it depends on which branch of the service you're interested in. Do you have a preference? I mean, there's Army, there's Navy, there's the Air Force, Marine Corps, there's Space Force, there's Fun Force, there's Spec Ops.
Maybe if we just go back one. I'm not I'm a big fan of being alive, and I was wondering maybe if Fun Force was something that might be a little bit more my speed.
Yeah, well, actually, Fun Force was started because there were a lot of people who had a problem with putting themselves in danger.
Yeah,
they liked the concept of the military. They liked the concept of serving your country and people saying thank you for your service, but they didn't want to risk their lives.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
When I go to airports, I want to wear my fatigues and everyone to smile at me and to have people offer me their first class seats because I'm in my fatigues. But now here's the key component of that. I don't want to fire guns at people because then they fire them back at me.
Yeah, well, that it is a huge issue in the military where people do return fire.
Yeah.
We've hated that for a long time. We haven't known what to do about it. We've asked kindly if they would please put their arms down, allow us to come in and kill them as necessary.
And does that not work?
It doesn't work. You very seldom get any kind of
monsters.
Yeah, nobody seems to work with you.
And again, I love my country, but it's more like I love my country, not like love my country. So this really is feeling like a good fit for me.
Yeah, well, this is really good for people who do kind of love their country and don't want to fully commit, don't want to make the ultimate sacrifice, but do like the swagger you get when you have fatigues on and people looking at you like, oh, you're serving your country, and you can be like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind a few sacrifices like doing the dishes more often than is my turn. Ultimate sacrifices are not my bag. Yeah.
And we that is an overwhelming comment we get when we send out surveys after any kind of battle with fatalities. The after action report comes out and there's always a little survey at the bottom. How was your experience in this battle? And there's a happy green face and there's a angry red face, and then there's a neutral yellow face. And it allows me, and almost always when there are fatalities, we get that it was a negative experience. They are not happy about it. And we try to work with them. That's why Fun Force was created.
I was wondering about, some of the duties that will be required of me.
In Fun Force?
Yes, please.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're deployed anywhere in the world that Fun Force is needed. You might be deployed to, say, Euro Disney.
Oh,
to protect.
That's the ultimate sacrifices, right?
Yeah. So you're going to be in France. You might not like it there, but you're going to make sure to protect the amusement park. Legoland, you might be sent there at a moment's notice.
Okay, go on.
Pretty much anywhere, like beaches, you'll defend the beaches for tanning.
Now defending, I mean, okay, so fine. I understand that I'm serving my country and that I'm sacrificing a lot. This already feels like too much, but how am I defending these places?
Well, I mean, if you see an enemy of fun, so say Taliban or ISIS or Al-Qaeda, if you see them strolling on the beach, you're going to go right up to them and just wave your little finger at them. And they're going to see those colorful camos. And they're going to know you're backed up with the full United States military and that you're with Fun Force. And, these guys, they wouldn't know fun if fun came up to them with a sweatshirt that said fun and said, "Hi, I'm fun." These guys don't know fun.
No, I guess not. I was thinking that I would go to one of these places, even a shithole like Euro Disney, and I would go and wag my finger at like a dad who's sort of being a downer and explain to him like, "Sir, this is just meant to be a fun place for everybody. Just cool out. Maybe go easy on your kids this week." But you're talking about like actual armed combatants.
Well, it has been known to happen. If you are deployed, if one of our Fun Force forward divisions, maybe in North Africa, as happens, there is some kind of activity there that is we call it quite negative in the Fun Force lingo. Negative people, negative types.
I guess my last question, the thing that's always kept me from putting my name on the dotted line is basic training.
Right.
I think I'm nervous about what that would do to my body. I'm not in great shape. I'm going to be honest with you. So, what is basic training like in Fun Force?
Well, basic training in Fun Force has kind of learned our lesson from the other basic training. Obviously, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and particularly the Marines have fairly intense basic training, 11-week cycle there. And it's not easy. There's a lot of physical exercise. There's a lot of disciplinary training. There's you'll be torn down. You'll be called names like maggot and loser. And judging from your voice, lard tub or chubbo. And this is hurtful, and we know this. And it's useful in building soldiers who are going to go out there and fight. But if we're building a soldier who's just going to be out there to defend fun, it's going to be a different kind of training. So it's all more about de-escalation. It's about inviting somebody over for coffee, about getting to know something you have in common with that person.
Okay.
You're not going to fight them, so you might as well talk about books you like.
So it's okay. So there's like library time and quiet time and free time and like maybe a manners course, some sort of like etiquette.
Yeah, well, that's a weird way to pronounce it, but yes, etiquette. And there's nap time.
Oh, that sounds really appealing because that's something I've mastered. I just ended a training session of nap time, and I'm about to start another. What's the pay like?
The pay is a little bit different than you're probably used to. We don't do money. We pay an exposure.
Like to social media exposure to get more followers, that sort of thing?
Well, we'll spend a lot of money on billboards. That'll say, what's your name?
Tim McGuffin.
So there'll be a billboard somewhere in the country that'll say Tim McGuffin was great to work with from Fun Force.
Oh.
And you just kind of hope that turns into a job.
So if I were to go apply for a job in Omaha, Nebraska, which I'm nowhere near, I would potentially get it based on the billboard you place there.
Yes.
Okay. That's a really stupid idea.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
You know what we don't cover enough on this show?
What?
Music.
You're right, Jack. We don't cover music. And I was just thinking that the other day.
Well, why didn't you say that when I asked you what we don't cover? You just sort of punted it.
I was practicing being a congressman.
Okay. I've noticed that we don't do enough music, as clearly you have as well.
Yes.
And so I was wondering, you listen to music, the second a new album is released, you're downloading that sucker and listening to it, you go into your music room, you tell me, and just listen to music and songs over and over again. And so you know songs better than everybody. Wouldn't you say that's right?
Absolutely. I love songs. Yep.
Yeah. So you definitely know all the songs that have come out recently by famous artists, Paul McCartney, for example.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely in touch with Paul McCartney's work. Sure.
And his newest work. An album McCartney 3, which came out just a couple of months ago in December 2020.
Oh, yeah.
So I was wondering
what a Christmas gift that was.
Yo, wow, that's so neat that you got that for Christmas.
Yeah.
Boy, so you must know all the songs really well on that album.
Yes, I do.
So you wouldn't be surprised at all if I asked you to tell us like what a song is about if I were to read you the title of an actual Paul McCartney song on McCartney 3.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so well versed in this album that I could basically do this in my sleep.
Okay, great. So here's some actual songs from the McCartney 3 album. If you could just tell us, I'm so curious about track number 4 called Women and Wives. What is McCartney singing about there?
Well, women and wives.
Yeah. Good. Well, I was wondering maybe for this segment, we would go like a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And sort of like, sort of dissect, where the song goes, sort of like the path of the song instead of just maybe repeating the words of the title.
Yeah. This is, he's older. He's older.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 80s. And Women and Wives is basically, you remember the song by The Nails called 88 Lines About 44 Women?
Sure.
Big 80s song.
Mm-hmm.
So Women and Wives is basically, he's just listing off, it's a canonical list of every woman and wife he's had throughout his life.
Okay.
And so it's basically, it's almost a form of challenge. He's challenging other musicians to list off their accomplishments as far as with women and wives.
Oh, nice.
And so the song, is, oh, and then there was Barbara, and then Linda and I got married, and then there was Kate and Stevie, who's a girl, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and he just works his way through. And it's incredible because, I guess being a Beatle made him attractive to a large number of women.
Oh, that's interesting how that works.
Yeah, so it's a 14-minute song.
It's a 14-minute track.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the kind of song DJs put on when they have to run to the bathroom because they don't want the record to end and they're still in the stall.
Right.
So 14 minutes is plenty of time for most of us.
Of just him listing his conquests.
Yes, it's one conquest after another, and he'll make little rhymes about them. There was Debbie, she was a little heavy, but I let her take off my shirt. That kind of stuff.
That's man, he fat shames the women he bangs.
Some of them, yeah.
Wow.
Helen was like a seesaw. I went up and down on her belly. Oh, I didn't like it because she's kind of smelly. She had fat folds she didn't clean. She never once would clean. And that is why Helen and I are no longer in a scene.
Boy, he rhymed clean with clean again and then with scene.
Yeah, he can do anything. Yeah. McCartney's magical.
Man, I see why everyone says he's better than John. Man, that's really good. And does he have you said there's some sort of crazy lyric about how he swept Heather Mills off her foot?
Yes.
How does that go again? Because you definitely know this song.
Who's that girl that's leaning, coming up to me? Oh my gosh, her name is Heather. Let us go and see. Shall I run up the stairs with her in my arms? Yes, because she has one leg. That's one of her few charms. And it just goes on and on.
One of her few charms? That's one of the main reasons he chose her?
Yeah. Yeah, he's weird that way. It's a Beatle.
That's so strange.
Yeah, he's weird.
All right. Well, gosh. Okay, so that's an interesting song. I was wondering, that was track 4. Let's go back to track 2.
How many tracks on this album? I forget.
But you know it so well.
That just slipped my mind. How many tracks are on it?
11 tracks.
Wow, that's a lot of tracks.
It's a lot of things for you to remember right now.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's easy to recall.
Yeah. Well, especially when and you say all the songs are better than anything put out by the Beatles.
Yes. This puts all the Beatles work to shame.
Wow.
If Michael Jackson were alive and realized he had bought the stupid Beatles albums, the songs, and realized what he's missing, but he's in a better place.
Right. There's a Dr. Feelgood around every corner where he is right now.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. I was wondering if you could tell me about the song "Find My Way." That's so interesting. That sounds, mystical, and I wonder what Paul McCartney is singing about in track number 2, "Find My Way."
Well, it's set in Aleppo, Syria.
In where?
In Aleppo, Syria.
In Aleppo, Syria.
Yeah, and so the premise of the song is Bashar al-Assad dropped a gas bomb, a nerve agent, on his own people, and this is one of them. She's trying to get out of the building, but she can't see. She's been blinded. Mm-hmm. So it's about, it's a song about finding her way and stepping over bodies in the stairwell.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why it's so specific? What brought this about?
Well, he told Rolling Stone that he wanted a song that would be popular at weddings. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because it would make people think, oh, we're having such a great time. But, thousands of miles away, here are these people having a terrible time of it. Just there's no buffet. There's no free wine.
Yeah. Just a buffet of death and pain.
Yeah. Finding my way.
Okay. Find my way. Yeah.
Yes. Find my way. Remember.
Find my way. Well, that's great. Here's an interesting one. Thanks for that one. And this is true. Track 5, right after Women and Wives, which, by the end of that 14 minutes, we want to hear something else.
Right.
A song called Lavatory Lil.
Lavatory Lil?
Track 5 on McCartney 3 is a song called Lavatory Lil.
Yeah.
And so, as you know, so you must know about it, and you could tell us about it now.
Yeah. So Lavatory Lil is a song. So this is about growing up in Liverpool. And there they had bathrooms that were, and there'd be like a woman who would be in charge of usually they're retired.
Okay.
They're retirement age, but it's just, they kind of make sure the bathrooms are clean. Mm-hmm. And you go in after, after your visit to the pub, and you use the bathroom, and then you toss a little coin there in her little dish, and she thanks you. And a Lavatory Lil is about that, and he gets to know her over time. You go to the pub, then go to the bathroom, leave her a coin here and there, and then at one point he was out of coins.
Right. And
he said, I feel terrible. I don't have any coins to give you. And she goes, well, there's something else you could give me.
Okay. What would that be?
And she has no teeth. And he said it was remarkable.
So Lavatory Lil is also in Women and Wives somewhere.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Yeah. There was, I'm trying to think where it was. I mean, it's earlier on because he was younger. He was a younger lad.
I know you've got a photographic memory, so I know you can find it.
He was like 18 or 19. First there was that time with Willa, then my favorite Lavatory Lila. Yeah.
Track 11, the final track in the album. It's called Winter Bird When Winter Comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you know. So I was just wondering, I'd love to know what that song is about to close this album. This could be. We don't know. I mean, Paul is 78, not 80, which, I'm sure a music fan like yourself actually knows.
Yes, of course.
But this could be.
Yeah.
He's an old man. This could be the last original song in his entire epic catalog. Yes. So what is this song, Winter Bird, When Winter Comes? What is it about? It's
about his friend Steve Winter. And Steve is suffering from a terrible, terrible disease.
Okay.
That anytime he ejaculates, he turns into a pelican.
Of course. Of course.
So Winter Bird, When Winter Comes. It's sad. And Steve, of course, is very upset about it because it frightens the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a lot of follow-up dates, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Women are spooked when you turn into a pelican.
Yeah, I imagine.
There's that grumble and growl and then the weird face. And then suddenly you're a bunch of feathers and your strange sticky legs.
Yeah.
Big gullet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great way to make sure you get yours and then don't have to put any effort into making sure that they've gotten theirs.
Yeah. That's the only benefit, according to Steve, is that he literally just flies out of the place.
Classic tale. And the last song Paul McCartney may have ever recorded of original content.
Yeah.
Boy, great job, Brian. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack. It's a pleasure.
So, Brian, America is talking about this past Sunday's huge interview on CBS between Oprah Winfrey, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
That's right. They got paid $7 million for that interview.
Yep. So, and good for them. I've been worried about those two not, having enough. So,
and it bothers me because I've been doing interviews for free.
Really?
Yeah.
That's That's so terrible.
Yeah.
But I thought in the time of equity, how is that fair?
I don't know. This guy, Keith Malignac, he said, "Can I interview you?" And I said, "Yes, you may." And there was no talk of me getting $7 million. So I need to maybe follow up. Yeah, I'm going to follow up with Keith and find out what's going on with that.
And that interview actually comes out on Friday. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, the 12th.
But maybe it shouldn't. Maybe Keith's podcast shouldn't be listened to because he's not being equitable.
Maybe I'm going to hold out. I'm going to say, did I sign a waiver allowing you to put my voice on the interwaves? No, I did not. $7 million or no.
Good luck with that. Hopefully, I would say people should go listen to that to Keith's podcast. But now I'm going to say they shouldn't until they know that you've been compensated.
I'm furious.
I'm mad too. I don't even want to do this bit anymore, but we should. We should.
Let's do it.
What's neat about this Meghan Markle, Prince Harry interview is that a lot of people don't know that you work for Harpo Productions, Oprah Winfrey's production company, right?
Yes, I do. I work for Harpo Productions.
As an editor, right?
I am an editor, yes.
And you edited the whole interview. So you saw all the raw footage.
Yeah, oh God, and there was so much.
So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. All of the footage that wasn't aired. Because as always, as we know, when DVDs or Blu-rays are released and there are deleted scenes, and some of the scenes are like, oh my gosh, that's better or more interesting than what was in the movie. Why did they cut that out? Well, you were telling me in that text you sent me yesterday that there's like 12 hours of unused footage with some shocking revelations.
Yeah, because when you get paid $7 million for an interview, you feel like you got to talk. You just got to keep talking.
Sure.
Give them their money's worth, right? Let us figure out what we want to keep and what's going to make the cutting room floor.
Yeah. No, that's great. So I was wondering if you could just talk to us about some specific moments that didn't make it in the special.
Yeah, sure.
So you said there was a long segment about Prince Harry's Halloween costumes. And, one costume when he dressed up like a Nazi got a lot of press.
Yes.
This is probably 15, 20 years ago at this point.
At least, yeah.
But he has like a long line of other Halloween costumes that you said they talked about ad nauseum. Can you sort of go through his Halloween stories?
Yeah, he basically went one by one through all his different Halloweens over the years, and a lot of them are very controversial. Of course, the Nazi one where he had the swastika armband, that got a ton of press, and that's probably the most well known. But there are so many others that he discussed. I mean, obviously he dressed in blackface. That's a given.
Obviously,
everybody has done that.
Yeah,
at some point, and. So, I mean, he talked about that a little bit and apologized for that. He dressed as Chairman Mao. And then actually went down to Chinatown in London and was walking, asking people if he was responsible for any relatives being deceased.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's
really?
Yeah, he's a Halloween prankster.
Yeah, that's a weird prank to go scare Chinese people who have emigrated to London.
Yeah, I know. He would walk up to him and be like, "I found you."
Oh my God.
Yeah, you thought you could get away? And then, these people would panic
That's a strange sense of humor.
Well, it's a royal sense of humor. He's got a lot of pedigree, a lot of upbringing, a lot of blue blood.
Yeah, of course.
Classy.
Not that classy. I seems problematic to me. Any other Halloween costumes we should know about or Halloween incidents?
Yes. He went as John Benet Ramsey. And what was terrible is he went to their Halloween party. And almost
he crashed the Ramsey family's Halloween party.
Yeah, almost unconscionable. I mean, I understand dark humor.
Yeah,
but they didn't see the humor in it. And of course, for the first few seconds, they were trying to determine if it was actually him. It's been a long time. She could be very big by now,
right? And with a red beard.
Yeah, and so they kind of and once they realized that it was Prince Harry, they were crushed.
Well, I mean, the glass is half full on this one. Sure, your daughter has been murdered, but it's Prince Harry has just crashed your Halloween party.
Yeah, I mean, the party guests were like, "What's going on?" And like, "Oh, this is Prince Harry." And they're like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." Yeah, but he went as John Benet. And they're like, "Oh my God, that's classless." But he's a prince. Oh, and then he's classy. It was one of these things. But he did.
Yeah.
It was a party that was talked about for a long time.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm more of a daughter is half dead type of person, so it's like I don't see it as being a good choice on Harry's part.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Now you said there was also a lot of talk about, Meghan's work as a briefcase holder on Deal or No Deal.
Yes.
That basically, and apparently Harry went and like made himself a sandwich, which is something he does now. Because Meghan wouldn't stop talking about Deal or No Deal.
She's very proud of that time in her life.
So she says that was her finest work?
She says, yeah, this was her greatest accomplishment. And then she she looks down at the child in her arms and then looks back at the camera and says, yeah, Deal or No Deal is my greatest accomplishment.
Ooh.
She's proud of that moment. There's a certain technique in opening those two. A lot of people think it's just you just got to look pretty and open a briefcase. There's a lot more to it than that. And I think people are being very judgmental. They don't see the whole picture. It's not that easy.
What more is there to it?
You need training before you can just stand there and look pretty and open a briefcase. And a lot of people think it's like, physics. They can just start doing it. Well, they can't. And that's why the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
God.
They said we need a guy to help us design this thing. And this guy was like, yeah, I'm sure I can do it. And now we know what happens.
Man.
So the next time someone says I can open a briefcase, you say, no, sir, you can't.
That's right.
Leave that to the experts.
And then show my Kristen McAuliffe tattoo that I have on my left forearm.
It's on your left forearm?
Yeah.
Because in Jehovah's Witness culture, a tattoo on the left arm is for people you want to be burning in hell.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then that's in the right place. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have no love for astronauts.
No, or teachers.
Oh, you want to get off this planet? Oh, go for it.
But you said there was a lot of other that she just went on and on about some of the hijinks at Deal or No Deal, about Howie Mandel, about how that he was her first and truest love, and it's a good thing Harry wasn't there. So can you tell sort of about some of what was revealed there?
Yeah, I mean, she revealed, she talked a lot about Howie Mandel and the relationship that they'd had for quite some time, and then they ultimately broke it up. She claims it's because Howie Mandel is racist. He says it's because she's batshit crazy. Who are you going to believe?
Yeah, obviously. Hold on. What year is it? 2021. I believe Meghan Markle.
Exactly. You believe all women.
Yep.
Which is
Howie Mandel's racist. That's a bummer.
Yeah. By the way, believe all women is a slogan that Andrew Cuomo hates. Loved it a while ago. It doesn't like it now.
Oh, that's strange. I wonder what changed. I guess people evolve.
I guess.
Okay. So and any other set hijinks or highs and lows of her time with Howie? Anything else that the public would be interested in knowing?
Well, I mean, she loves heroin.
Jesus.
Huge heroin buff.
A buff.
Yeah. No, she can actually. Yeah, Oprah took out 4 syringes and laid them out. And she tried it one by one. And she was able to pinpoint, kind of like a sommelier can tell you where the grape is from, where in France, or if it's in Italy or Australia. And she was able to discern where the heroin came from.
Wow. What a talent.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
No, it was impressive, but it was a little bit long for a segment, and ultimately, it couldn't fit. We didn't have enough time.
Yeah,
for 20 minutes of heroin.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, especially with commercial breaks. There's a lot of stuff that you leave on the cutting room floor.
Yep, and Oprah asked her, why do you like heroin? And she said, well, because I love the word heroin, because I feel like a heroine. And so, beautiful. I'm a heroine and I'm putting heroin in my body. What could be more heroic than this?
God, she is a princess.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's inspiring. A lot of stuff, apparently, you guys wanted to put in the Meghan Markle, Prince Harry show on CBS was cut because for legal reasons, because you guys were afraid of the Queen and the royal family's response and their lawyers, because apparently she said, they both said so many amazing things about the Queen.
Yeah, they said great things about the Queen, but then Prince Harry kind of opened up and he just started saying, she killed my mommy. She killed my mommy. She killed my mommy.
Yeah.
And
I know.
And he did that for a while.
So he just said that for a while?
He said she killed my mommy and just became very kind of introspective. And then he got a phone call and his demeanor changed. And he said, I love my grandma.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And he apparently opens up about some of the Queen's hygiene habits and some curious things that they do to the Queen to quote upkeep her.
Well, her skin has to be reapplied every morning because a lot of it, she sheds skin. And, with advanced age, this happens. You wake up and there's a big sheet of skin on the floor and you're bleary eyed. Oh my God, where's that from? You look around, you see a missing patch. And that's when you call Hargreaves.
Hargreaves?
Yes.
And who is that gentleman?
He's the head skin putting on officer. In the Queen's administration. Mm-hmm. So he knows where the skin goes. He knows her body, better than her husband.
Sure.
At this point, things slip when you get older, as we notice. We've seen this with our presidents. As you get older, you start forgetting things. Your Secretary of Defense, where you're standing, don't pull the dog's tail, stuff like that.
All right. Well, yep. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for sharing some of these royal secrets.
Thank you, Jack. I love having royal secrets.
I love you having them.
You might say I'm a royal knower of things.
You wouldn't say that because you would ruin the segment. Everyone had a lot of fun during that last segment. Then you'd say that and ruin the fun.
Well, that's royally disappointing.
God help me.
Jack.
Yes, Brian.
Monetizing a podcast, it's a dream, right?
The dream.
Well, I have an opportunity.
Really?
Yes. So apparently you can make money reading obituaries on your podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they just want you to read an obituary. And the only thing is it's solemn. This is about death. And so, you have to be courteous. You have to be respectful. And of course, you have to be serious.
Yep.
There's no, laughing at the prospect of somebody being dead. So what they do is they send you obituaries. You read them on air. And if they're happy with the read, you get paid.
God, this is great.
I'm very excited because this is a potential revenue stream.
Okay.
So Jack, I'm going to send you the obituaries. All right. You need to read these. You need to be serious and respectful. This is obituary. This is about death. And if you do that, we'll get paid.
Paid. Great.
If you mess up, you're not respectful enough, we don't get paid. And they want you to treat their loved ones with respect.
Okay. Of course. That's all I want to do. I'm so sorry for their loss. And that's something I want to do. Let's do this.
All right. And I'm sending you the obituaries now.
Great. So can I just get a chance to read them ahead of time?
No. This needs to be done now.
Oh, I didn't know it was a...
There's no reading ahead of time. It's not respectful.
Is that respectful to read ahead of time?
No.
It might help me.
No, because they want your genuine, caring read.
Okay. I'm ready. I just got the obituaries, which I have never read before.
That's right.
And I've opened it and I'm ready to go.
Well, I wish you would.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Solemn. Michael Bleary, 62, of Shankersville, Pennsylvania, returned to the loving embrace of the Lord last Thursday. Michael passed at his home, surrounded by his loving family, closest friends, and a man hired at... I'm so sad for his loss. And a man hired as a roadside mascot for Picante's Taqueria, who is dressed up as a potentially problematic blackface taco. Michael was born in Millsburg on August 24th, 1958, the son of Melvin and Amanda Bleary. He graduated from Millsburg High School, where he excelled at basketball. He was affectionately nicknamed Snapperhead because of his locker room habit of using his towel to whip teammates in the penis. After graduating, Michael enlisted in the U.S. Army and proudly served until he was discharged as a corporal. Afterward, he moved to Shankersville where, being an entrepreneurial sort, he founded the I Have a Truck and Can Help You Move Your Broken Down Car Company, before later changing its name to Mike's Towing. Michael is survived by his high school sweetheart, Rebecca Hafferty, and their children, sons Michael Jr., Mike, and Count Micula, and his darling daughters, Michaela and Nipple. Their seventh child was summoned home to the Lord during childbirth, but had he lived, they would have called him Survivor. Michael loved his family dearly. Even Mike, whose outrageous and performative flamboyance makes Liberace look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Michael was beloved by people who knew him. He truly touched everyone he met, though nothing was ever proven in a court of law. Michael faced lung cancer with a combination of bravery and incandescent rage. Oh, man. Oh. He could often be found accusing Arthur Singh, the local convenience store owner, of complicity in his death for selling him unfiltered Lucky Stripes for so many years. Funeral services will be held this Sunday. In lieu of flowers, please go to Arthur's convenience store and make that son of a bitch pay for what he done did. How'd I do?
Not so good. I guess we're not going to get paid for that one. Are you crying sadness, right? It's sad.
Yeah, I'm
Poor
crying
guy.
sadness. I'm crying sadness because for the Bleary's loss, first and foremost, but also for the loss of ours, for the money that we're not getting from the Bleary's.
Well, that's just one. You know what? People die all the time. The next one is right there. Here's our chance to make some money, Jack.
Okay. Candace Bean, 88, of Shelby, North Carolina, passed on Wednesday after a brief struggle with driving off a bridge. A teacher at Shelby Elementary for nearly 50 years, Candace is fondly remembered by her students and much of the community as a warm and caring woman who derived great joy at watching her pupils learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. She pioneered the Bean method of education, which helped students learn faster by telling them a dragon would chew their parents' heads right off if they got a single answer wrong. Candace was an avid birdwatcher and could often be found in one of the local public parks getting some exercise and a breath of fresh air. Her great joy was to gather her with close friends every Sunday for her favorite card game, ironically, bridge. Candace had several cats as a result of a childhood illness that turned her ovaries into desiccated husks. Candace is survived by her beloved cats Mimi, Loverboy, Twiddles, and Penetrator 6. Candace was happily married to the love of her life, William D. Bean, for 42 years. William predeceased her by 2 minutes because their passenger side sank first. A memorial service will be held this Friday at the Shelby Elementary School Gymnasium. Donations in memory of Candace should be directed to the St. Francis Cat Refuge, with the understanding that $8 buys the cats one more day alive.
Sad for Candace.
Yeah.
And sad for us.
Yeah. One, it's very sad for us. I'm sad for Candace, who ironically loved playing bridge. But also her husband. I mean, I'm sad that, I'm sad that, what's his name here? William
Bean.
I'm sad that William Bean doesn't get an obituary. It's too bad that the family is playing favorites.
It's tragic.
Okay. All right, I'm ready for the next one. Let's get this money, Brian. Let's get this money right now.
Respectful, serious, somber.
Solemn.
It's an obituary.
Okay. Obituary. I got this. Gene Ray Davidson, 55, of Prescott, Arizona, passed away unexpectedly Tuesday morning, right around the time residents of Prescott lost power. Gene loved his job as a linesman for Apps Electric, where he'd worked for nearly 30 years. He loved getting up early in the morning, donning the overalls he'd had custom made with metal threads. And he loved working barefoot, eschewing rubber-soled shoes in favor of direct contact with the ground. Not a day went by that Gene didn't love throwing water balloons at transformers and prodding them with barbecue forks. He was a loving husband to Donica Mayweather Davidson and a devoted dad to Steve and Wendy. He could often be seen spraying them with water and pushing them into cattle fences. Gene loved that his job allowed him to enjoy the outdoors all day long. Whether basking in the warm Arizona sun or threatening a lightning storm with a long metal pole, friends and family all agree he was at his happiest when he was out in nature. Gene was a man of faith, actively involved with Prescott Methodist Church. He loved country music, his dog Sparky, and wearing a blindfold while working. His biggest dream was to meet Garth Brooks and hold his guitar while standing in a wading pool. A memorial service will be held Thursday via Skype. Cremation will take place at a later date when power is returned to the greater Prescott area. I think there's a screenplay in there.
Could be. There's not money there, though.
Yeah, I know. Gene Ray Davidson, 55, of Prescott, lived a strange life.
He did. But you know what? He seems happy.
I feels like he wanted to die. So in this case, I am happy for him.
All right. Another chance.
All right. I see that this is the last one. So this is my last chance to make some money for this podcast.
Make some money.
Right. Here we go. Solemn. Martin Delasky, 97, of Levittown, Long Island, passed away peacefully on Friday at the Levittown Senior Rehabilitation Center. Martin was born to Miroslav and Greta Delansky in Warsaw, Poland in 1927. He was the youngest of 5 children. A resistance fighter during the Second World War, he was captured and imprisoned at the Buchenwald concentration camp. There, Martin teamed up with several doomed friends for the Deutschlafs Uber Allies improvisational comedy troupe. Martin and his constantly rotating cast of performers brought a lighthearted atmosphere to excruciatingly long roll calls, beatings, and reprisal killings. Shows typically lasted from 30 minutes until a guard gratuitously murdered one of the performers. When Buchenwald was liberated in April 1945, Deutschlafs put on a show for U.S. servicemen entering the camp. Martin pretended to be a shoe salesman with a foot fetish. The performance was well received by the liberating soldiers until they noticed all the bodies and got sad. Martin emigrated to the United States after the war, where he worked for a furrier. He married Yvonne Scholar in 1957 and had 4 children, Ziggy, Barbara, Joseph, and Becca. His children remember him as a loving father who used to wake up screaming that Germans were coming to kill him. Martin's passion for performing resurfaced after many years, and he formed the Levittown Laugh Senior Center improvisational comedy troupe. Though we often told the same joke 8 to 12 times, it was always received as though it was being heard for the very first time. Martin greatly appreciated that his audience often died of natural causes and not because of Germans. A celebration of life will be held at the Levine Memorial Chapel. It will be largely improvised, so please don't yell out "used condom" when they ask for the audience for suggestions.
Well, I guess
he lived a long life.
Speaking of long life, we have more chances. We have a long life ahead of us for you to make us some money. keeping a straight face when you read a freaking obituary. It's a little disappointing.
Like, if I could just read these ahead of time, I could probably control it.
It's not respectful.
Okay.
That's a shame. All right.
Well, review the podcast, please. Or don't.
And you know what? The new thing, Jack, they don't have subscribe anymore. They're phasing out subscribe.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
it's going to be follow, because 47% of people who aren't familiar with podcasts thought that to subscribe to a podcast cost money.
Oh,
so they're changing the terminology to follow. So follow our podcast. So now people won't think they have to pay money.
Well, I wish they would.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our podcast. That was questionable material. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Follow. Make sure to review the podcast. Make sure to visit qmpodcast.com.